Good evening, Lake Orion. Well, we're on a fine, pleasant summer day. Well, is it summer really? No, there's snow on the ground. I'm your host, and I am Taormina. Yes, indeed. It's Between Taorminas here on ONTV. This is Anthony Taormina. I'm here with Sammy, and for the record, Ian Weatherspoon is once again not here this week. Why is Ian Weatherspoon not here this week? Well, it's simple. Ian Weatherspoon works in Detroit. He has a house in Royal Oak. So he is basically having to come up here to Lake Orion, and it's tough on him. So that's why he's not here this week. Sammy, how you doing?
Tired, long day today, been busy a lot. It's kind of odd because, the end of spring, end of winter sports, you know what I mean, end of basketball for high school, and then you get a little bit of a break, and then all of a sudden I feel like I haven't got that break yet.
Oh, yeah, I feel you. I've seen it. It's not like, it's just crazy. Something big happened. The NCAA tournament starts tomorrow. What do you think of the matchups?
Well, it's very interesting. When you look at the brackets, I think North Carolina got a really nice draw. When you look really at the tournament, you always have to look for the perfect upset to occur, and I think there is a perfect upset in the making. If you look at a team like Middle Tennessee State, the reason why I think Middle Tennessee State's going to pull off a big upset is because I'm not so in Minnesota, despite the fact they did well in the Big Ten tournament. Remember, this is the same team that beat Michigan State last year, and they had the bulk of their team back, plus they added a transfer. So I think that's a team to keep an eye on. Another team to keep an eye on is Winthrop. Winthrop's an interesting team because I think Winthrop's going to be they're going to be a tough out, and whoever's playing Florida, the reason why I think, and I don't know who their opponent is right now, but it's not on the tip of my mind, but whoever's playing Florida, I think they can upset Florida and possibly move on. I think that is it's in the they go ahead. But whoever's playing Florida, I think's got a great chance to pull off an upset. And also, it's kind of funny is because the number one seed. Well, yeah, number one seeds won the national championship, but at least the number one seed though hasn't even gotten out of the second round. So. At one point. And I think that there's one team that's vulnerable to that. I think it's Kansas, because when you look at Kansas, you got Michigan State in that side of the bracket. I think they're going to get by Miami of Florida, and I think they're going to beat Kansas possibly in the Sweet 16. Yep. I think Michigan State's an underrated Sweet 16 team here.
What about Gonzaga?
You know what, Gonzaga, I think they're going to run into Arizona. They really don't have a challenging part of the draw. I just think that Arizona.
You don't think Vanderbilt is going to get them, or Northwestern?
No. Northwestern's not good. Seriously, Northwestern is not good. They didn't look good against Wisconsin in the Big Ten tournament. They needed 2 runs to beat Maryland and Rutgers. I just don't think that. I don't think anybody's going to challenge Gonzaga, and plus it's in Salt Lake City, Utah, and it's not a far trip from Seattle, Washington to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, it is. From Washington to Utah? Yeah, it is.
The Seattle? Yeah.
From Seattle to Salt Lake City? That's still a hike.
But I still think at the end of the day, I think Gonzaga is going to go far, play Arizona, and I think
don't know
Arizona.
About that. I think Gonzaga will go out early.
You think Gonzaga's going out early?
I do.
In other words, and then of course, it's all about Michigan State, how they got that nice draw. Number 9 seed, I thought they'd be a low seed.
Yeah, I think they got overseeded.
You think they got overseeded?
Yes.
Why?
Because Michigan State doesn't deserve a 9 seed. They should be at least a 10 or 11.
Yeah, but at least they're still in the tournament, and they've done very well as a lower seed. They managed to get to the Final Four. I know it was a 10 seed a couple years back.
That's true.
They were a Final Four team of 7. They were a Final Four team. I mean, you know what team you got to watch out for? Wichita State.
Why?
Because Wichita State was ranked 8th in the country in one person's poll, and they were grossly underseeded. This is a team that's went to the Final Four. I think you're going to eliminate Kentucky. I think they're going to be a Sweet 16.
Really think they're going to eliminate Kentucky?
Yep. Wichita State's a team to watch out for, the Shockers. Now, they have a tough match with Dayton in the first round.
You really think they're going to eliminate Kentucky?
Yes, I think they're going to eliminate Kentucky
Oh my goodness.
at Louisville. They're going to eliminate them.
What about
Indianapolis?
What about Louisville? What's Louisville's chances?
I think you're going to eliminate Michigan because
Why?
I think, 1, Michigan's corporate. 2,
What?
2, Bob Bridges is aligned with Michigan, so that's why I
What?
think Louisville is going to eliminate Michigan.
So you think they're going to eliminate Michigan because of a girls' freshman basketball coach?
Yes.
You're horrible.
Yep, and I think Louisville is going to be the one that moves on, and I think they're going to make a run. And Michigan, they're too corporate.
What's your take about Michigan winning the Big Ten championship?
They bought and paid for that national
What?
champion. They bought and paid for that Big Ten title. Here's
Really?
why. Because besides
Wow.
the fact they got in one accident in Detroit last week,
Because of the high winds.
but they bought and paid for that Big Ten
What?
championship because of their corporate sponsors. Because of their corporate sponsors, because of people like Bob Bridges and Dan Haas, and of course Connor Stallions and the Stallions family, they all paid for Michigan to win that Big Ten championship. It was bought and paid for.
You're not crediting Mr. Walton Jr.?
Nope.
You're not crediting Mr. Wagner?
Nope.
Number 5 kid's pretty good.
I'm not crediting any of those players
Why?
because it was bought and paid for.
Why are you not even, I mean, they beat Purdue, who's the number 1 seed. They beat Minnesota, who eliminated Michigan State. They beat Wisconsin. You got to give Michigan all the credit in the world.
Well, at least they got a 7 seed.
Yeah, they should have been a 5. Or
But
a
like
6.
I said, Michigan's Big Ten championship was bought and paid for.
That's ridiculous.
I'm not kidding.
That is ridiculous. Some of your assumptions are just awful.
How are they awful?
That they bought and paid. Michigan had to earn that. They played 4 games in 4 days.
Like I said, here's why. Michigan,
They beat Illinois. They beat Purdue. They beat Minnesota. They beat Wisconsin. That's not easy to do. 4 games in 4 days? I mean, not to steal a catchphrase from you, but who are you?
Michigan bought and paid for that
That's
Big
not
Ten
true.
championship. Yes, they did. And I'm telling you right now, Michigan's going to feel the same fate Michigan State did last season. It would not surprise me if they lose to Oklahoma State, but it would not surprise. I mean, because we know Louisville's gonna
Oklahoma
eliminate
State's no Middle Tennessee State.
But I think Michigan's going to suffer the same fate
Why?
because Oklahoma State's got 2 good guards. They're pretty good. I think they're going to give Michigan a lot of problems, and I think at the end of the day, I got Oklahoma State. You know, I think Oklahoma State can eliminate Michigan, and it's
That's
in
like
Tulsa.
and
it's in Tulsa.
You're right.
And Oklahoma State's going to bring a big crowd. So and a lot of people always root for the underdog, and the underdog's Oklahoma State against Michigan.
It's like Ian Weatherspoon rooting for the Kansas City Royals in Cleveland. It's
We know he
Yeah,
does.
Wait, yeah, he does. You're right.
Yes.
You're right. Most of the fan base thinks that he's right. So any final thoughts?
Yeah, North Carolina's going to win the national championship, and Duke, I think, is going to somehow get upset.
You don't think Duke and North Carolina are going to meet in the Elite Eight?
Nope.
You don't think so?
No.
Why do you think Duke's going out?
Maybe second round.
Who do you got eliminating Duke?
Well, I haven't losing the Sweet 16, but I am losing SMU, so so we'll see what happens.
What do you think Syracuse left out?
You know, it's very interesting with Syracuse. They were left out. They haven't won a game on the road, and if you don't win games on the road, you ain't gonna win the NCAA tournament. You ain't gonna win.
We'll be right back between Taorminas on ONTV.
Lake Orion families are invited to hop on over to the Orion Center for the 2017 Bunny Bop on Saturday, April 1st, beginning at 10 a.m. Pose for a photo with the Easter Bunny, enjoy refreshments, create crafts, and take part in a hunt for Easter eggs filled with candy and other surprises. Children will be divided by age groups and are encouraged to bring their own basket. There are plenty of photo opportunities at the 2017 Bunny Bop. For more information, call 248-391-0304, extension 305, or visit oriontownship.org. In 1997, approximately 100 runners and walkers took part in the very first Dragon Dash. The event has grown every year since then, and now, 20 years later, Orion Township once again invites you to take part in the 2017 Dragon Dash. This 5K certified course begins and ends at the Orion Center and takes participants on a scenic trek along the Pollyant Trail. Awards are handed out in numerous age divisions. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned competitor, come out for the Dragon Dash on Sunday, May 21st at 9 a.m. For more information, call 248-391-0304, extension 305, or visit oriontownship.org.
Welcome back to Between Taorminas here on ONTV. Sam, those look like two very cool events. The Bunny Hop, and then you got the Dragon Dash.
Very interesting events. Very interesting events.
Two good events. Might have to consider it down the line.
We'll see.
All right. Well, let's talk about, well, speaking of Ian Weatherspoon, as you know, is not. So, do you think Ian roots for the Royals and the Indians?
Yes.
That's actually your first true fact of the day. So, let's talk about the Dragons. The boys basketball team ended their season. The record is a bit deceptive. It was not the best record, but they competed in every game. What's your take on this Dragons group?
Very young team that they have. When you look at playmakers in the future like Jamie Lewis, Casey Stronach, Pierce Burke, you know, I think the foundation's there. I still think when you look at the team next year, you know, losing Steven Zimieski is going to hurt this group. Also, I really think that this team, I think they need a bit more of a post presence. You know, they did call up Nate Talbot. Later in the season. I think he's going to have to get stronger. I think he's going to have to develop his game a little bit more. If Lake Orion's going to be they're going to be an interesting team next year. They're going to be an interesting team to keep an eye on, for sure. But, you know, this year was kind of like, you know, a transition year for this team.
They had a very successful team last year.
They had a successful team last year, but, you know, this year how the division worked out, everybody had experience. Everybody had
veteran scoring.
They had veteran scoring. I mean, like, and, you know, and you have a young team, so it was a tough season for this group.
We talked about veteran scoring. It seemed like every team Lake Orion played this year had veteran scoring, whether it was veteran seniors or it was just veteran scorers in general. But this group did have some very good wins. They beat Stony Creek, who's still playing. They're in the regional final tonight against Clarkston, another team that, you know, Orion's had problems with in the past. They beat Adams, which Adams, despite their record, Adams was winless this year, 0-21, but Adams still fought in the very competitive OAA Red. And then two other wins was Berkeley and then Seaholm. Seaholm ended up being was okay. Was not bad this year.
Were in district final.
They were in district final, yeah. So it wasn't like these teams they were playing were bad. It's just that this year, you know, you had a team, Grobes, who was favored to win, returned veteran experience. Oxford, who had a really good year before what happened with Pontiac. That whole situation, we can talk about that briefly. But Oxford had a really good year. And then Rochester with their veterans, and then Stony Creek. Obviously, they have two veterans as well, so it's not. And then
it's not easy.
It wasn't easy. The league wasn't easy.
When you look at this team, you know, the teams they were playing, Stony Creek experienced. You look at Clarkston, we know they're sick. I mean, we know. We know.
What you mean by sick is Clarkston has
veteran laden. You look at Groves, veteran laden. I mean, like, it's not an easy thing to handle when you're playing those type of teams. When you're a young team, you know what I mean? You're going to take your lumps, and this team took a lot of lumps, and I think when you look at it next year, I think it's going to be a much different year, like Orion.
Do you think that going in, you noticed the MHSA enrollment list came out.
Mm-hmm.
Lake Orion ranks 3rd in the OAA behind Clarkston and Troy. Pontiac, that story. I wanted to briefly talk about Oxford and Pontiac. That game, obviously, we talked about it last week. That was right before the story came out. You want to go into details about what happened there?
Sean Jackson, a former player at Brandon who transferred into Pontiac, was declared ineligible, and for being a fifth-year senior. And one thing the MHA says is you have to play 4 years. Deshaun Jackson played 4.5 years, and the reason why I say a half is because he played allegedly in the second half of the semester. And the thing is, here's a kid that played 4 years at Brandon. Of course, he led Brandon with district title, and what made this really shocking was here's a kid that committed to play basketball at St. Clair Community College, signed his transcript, signed a letter of intent to go there, but however, he didn't have the grades to go there, and transferred to Pontiac. So I think it's a failure on both sides here. When you look at Jackson, the player, the parents, also the what was going on with the Pontiac administrators, they didn't even bother to read this transcript. They didn't even bother to read his transcript. And I think when you look at it there, and here's a program that got caught twice doing it, okay? Because this year, their best guard, David Wilson, was ineligible because of age limit. And you look, and then you have this. So,
that
it was a mess
harm.
over there at Pontiac.
That causes tremendous harm to a team's reputation and team's credibility, because now it seems like whenever you play Pontiac or
you gotta be skeptical.
You have to be skeptical. But what happened was Oxford, after the game, some of Oxford's players recognized who he was. They told the AD. They reported it. They did the right thing, obviously. But there was a lot of controversy about should Oxford had went to the advanced instead of Pontiac. Now, MHSA rule states that if a team forfeits a game, that the losing team could not advance either. So there was some controversy there. Should Oxford have went advanced and played Waterford Kettering?
Yes, because it would have been more of an interesting game, district final, instead of what we had between Clarkson and Waterford Kettering.
Game with Clarkson and Kettering was just
the reason why I say this is because I think Oxford, they got cheated. They obeyed the rules. They played by the rules. Pontiac did not. So basically,
but the game was already played. Pontiac and Oxford. Pontiac had already won that game.
Yes. So basically,
we were praising Pontiac.
We were praising Pontiac until
this all happened.
This all happened. Oxford got robbed. They got ripped off, and you know what I mean. And now they're not playing. Instead of playing extra 2 games, they can't even advance and play they can't even advance and play in the district tournament because of a stupid rule. So I think that rule does need to change.
But it is under MHSA rule, though.
I know it is, but I think I view the MHSA as most corrupt.
Should the MHSA review that rule next year?
Yes, they have to. Do I think they will? No. But
it's happened in football, but it doesn't. It just doesn't happen in basketball.
I just think the
what happened if this situation happened during the semifinals or the regional finals? You can't go back and replay it.
No.
But that's what happened That's what happened was it was discovered after the Pontiac Oxford game. You can't go back and replay it. So what the league did, what the MHSA did, was they gave Oxford the forfeit win, and so it just makes you skeptical when you play.
It's skeptical when you play. You know what I mean? Because you don't know who they're bringing in. You don't know. And look at I think Deshaun Jackson, his what he did was, I don't know. he would have had a great career at St. Clair Community College. You know, instead, doing this. You know, instead he did this.
Well, we'll have to see what happens with him going forward, and we'll see what happens with Pontiac going forward. As I said, they took a hit.
Their credibility, reputation takes it.
Clarkston. Clarkston, do you see this team going all the way? I mean, they beat Dakota by 20. They've been averaging 70 plus a game in the last 4 games. Led by Foster Lawyer, Dylan Alderson. They have essentially 3 Division I recruits, maybe 4 Division I recruits. Does Clarkston have, obviously Grand Rapids Christian they're the number 1 ranked team in the state, but does Clarkston have enough to go all the way?
No.
Why?
Because
that team is scary. That's the scariest team I've ever seen.
When you look at that team, they don't have a true number 3, and that's saying a lot. Because you look at Lawyer, you have Alderson, you have
Alderson could play the 3.
Well, Alderson could play the 3, but then who plays the 4? And then you look at Taylor Curry. But here's the thing.
Well, Silic plays the 4.
But here's the thing. There's going to be times where Clarkson just does not. I mean, like, Kip Wells is a very underrated player. But I think when you look at it here, because Clarkson's road is going to be interesting, especially when they get to they should have no problem with Stony Creek. They should have no problem with Saginaw in the quarterfinals. But the team I'm curious to see how they do is going to be against Detroit University, Detroit Jesuit.
Should they
advance? And I think the Cubs have had the Wolves number. Now, you look at the Cubs, yeah, they had the 2 Nigerians, Ike, Greg Igboud. And then you have, of course, they have an emerging guard coming up, and also you have Cassius Winston's little brother, Zachary Winston. So when you look at that matchup, I think Clarkson's going to have. They're gonna be in a battle in there. I think that
we thought they'd be in a battle with Macomb, Dakota, and look what they did there.
We thought that. I was shocked that they'd be in by 20. But you know, when you look at, I think Clarkson's gonna have a huge problem with Detroit University, Detroit Jesuit, and I also think they're gonna have a problem if they do get there. And I think they're gonna have a problem with Grand Rapids Christian, because when you look at Grand Rapids Christian, 3 Division I recruits, and I think a lot of people are looking forward to this possible final between Grand Rapids Christian and Clarkston. But the question will be, can Clarkston get there? That's the question.
I mean, with Foster Lawyer leading the way, I mean, it's very hard not to argue.
Yeah, but if you go right at him and you attack Clarkston,
like Southfield did,
like Southfield Arson Tech did, you know, and you get Lawyer in foul trouble, that whole thing changes. Lawyer's the head of the snake.
Well, but so going in, finishing it off right. Going with Lake Orion. What does Lake Orion have to do next year?
You know, when you look at them, they have to address, of course,
you said the big man situation.
The big situation they got to address. They got to address maybe trying to get a solid 2, solid 3. Player can definitely play there, of course. I think Jamie Lewis has to move the point guard. Probably get another shooter in there. I think they got some pieces to fill next year.
JV team was pretty strong this year.
We're strong.
Freshman was pretty strong, too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about something on Between Taorminas on ONTV. Hello, Lake Orion. It's Anthony Taormina, co-host of Between Taorminas. I want to let you know of a new show called History Now. In it, we're going to talk about global, national, and political events that occur in our lifetime. We're going to also have guests and also have co-hosts as well, and also plenty of surprises. Catch us on History Now here on ONTV. Hello, Oakland County. This is Sammy Taormina talking OA Now. In it, we'll talk various stories ranging from the state to Oakland County teams affecting the OAA. Catch us here on OA Now. Welcome back to Between Taorminas here on ONTV. One quick segment we want to talk about before we conclude is the NIT. Oakland is in the NIT, and they just got a big win against Clemson, being
Yes,
down
they did.
20 plus and winning that game 74-69.
You know what's funny? It's without Jalen Hayes. You know what I mean?
know.
No Jalen Hayes.
Jalen
He
Hayes
was
got
knocked
injured.
out. He got knocked. I mean, he was
Not
injured.
knocked out, but he got hurt.
He got hurt. I think he'll play next game against Richmond. But I think when you look at Sean Dorsey, I mean, like Martez Walker played well.
Sean Dorsey Walker.
Sean Dorsey Walker played well. Big win for the Grizzlies. Big win for Coach Greg Campy. They battled. They didn't give up. They battled back.
Oakland become a contender in the NIT.
Yes.
Why?
I think because of like their style of play. I think that their style of play works very well in this tournament because of who they are. If they're back healthy, look out. Then Oakland could be at the. I'm hoping Oakland get to MSG.
Wouldn't that be
so that'd
something if
great.
Oakland got to Madison Square
Oh,
Garden?
that would be awesome.
That'd
they
be
did.
awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, you can't replace what happened in the NC
No.
in the
Can't
Horizon League
replace
tournament.
what happened. That
You
lost
can't replace what happened there, but I mean, it'd be nice consolation for Oakland to get.
Oh yeah.
You know, that win against Clemson was huge.
Oh, it is huge.
I mean, really,
Being
really
an ACC
huge.
school is huge.
All right, so any final thoughts about this week's episode? Any Ian Weatherspoon bashing moments?
Yeah. Come back soon.
That's all you want to say to Ian Weatherspoon?
Come back soon. You no good, evil. You no good.
Ian
Kansas
Weatherspoon's
City-
evil? That doesn't
no,
make sense.
You no good Kansas City Royals fan and Cleveland Indians fan. You should be shipped to Cleveland, Ohio immediately.
So you think Ian should be shipped to Cleveland immediately?
Yep. And Bob Bridges should bow down to Victory Green.
You really think that's going to happen?
Yes.
Any other final thoughts about Michigan?
Nope.
Michigan State?
Yeah. They're going to shock Kansas. Just watch.
Oakland?
Yeah. I think they're going to they're going to head to MSG. Just watch.
All right, that will do it for this week's episode of Between Taorminas. Catch you soon and see you soon. Special shout outs to everybody who watches our show. Also, congratulations are in order. First, Roger Smith for announcing in the MHSA boys basketball state tournament in the state finals at Michigan State. Also, Jan Allard for winning the Lake Orion staff member of the year. Congratulations, Mr. Smith and Miss Allard. Have a great night, Lake Orion, and see you soon.